Busy work, idle hands are the devil's playthings, as I've heard. Also, another good one. Don't let someone ruin your day, or don't let someone else ruin your day. It's your day. You can ruin it for yourself. These thoughts came to me today because of just observing my children, observing myself, and observing my past self as a child, and coming to the conclusion of there are just so many days that a person should have used better time management, and should have put more into the day. See, that's the thing. You have to be willing. You yourself, your personal self, have to be willing to want to do the things and plan to do the things to a point. It can be even a fly by the seat of your pants plan, but at least it's still something besides boredom and flatline for the day, right? Because like I asked my daughter, my eldest, this morning, I was like, "What's your plans for the day?" She's like, "Got none." I said, "Okay, not gonna make any." Nope. And I mean, there are days when those are the types of days a person needs, when you can't or shouldn't or don't want to make plans because you've been doing so much. So it's always good to have a day of rest. But when your rest days overtake your productive days, that's when anxiety starts to build, and sometimes depression seeps in. And sometimes for depression, that ball is a hard ball of unwinding, because I really believe that deep depression is a space that universe kind of puts us in to purge. But that's a whole other cup of tea. Added, stacked on days of repetitiveness, flatline, whatever, doing nothing, can add into depression, and that's usually the sign of there's something bothering you, and maybe you need to take some time to figure that one out. Which also brings me to the thought of the universe always knows exactly what you need and when you need it, because there are so many times that I thought I needed, or not needed, wanted and needed certain things, and the things that I thought I wanted and needed were not the things that were delivered, but the things that were delivered were the things that were wanted and needed at the time. So like I had this time where I was so exhausted and depressed with life that I didn't want to do dishes, and I wanted to eat, but I didn't want to cook. So those are like two things against getting dishes, or against eating, right? No dishes to work with, and no want to cook. So I wrote in my journal about it, and I was like, this is what I want to happen. Either someone take my kids for 3 days so that I can, have some downtime and gather the energy I need to clean, and then clean and eat. Or someone bring me food. And I really, really wanted the first one more than anything. I really wanted some just personal time to myself, some quiet downtime to figure everything out. But within 45 minutes of me writing that and setting it to the side and just kind of going on with my day, I got a text from a girlfriend, or my neighbor, asking me if I wanted to go to IKEA in the city. And I was like, thinking to myself, and like I was super low, like so low that I did not want to human interact. I didn't want to do anything. But it popped into my brain that when we feel a certain way and we don't want to feel that way anymore, we have the opportunity and option to change, to do that, to set aside whatever it is and push ourselves to do something different. So I thought about it, and I said maybe a change of scenery would be great. So I went with her, hopped in the hoopty, felt a little miserable getting there. When we got there, I'd never been to IKEA before, so I was like, this is interesting, this is cool. It was like a giant house. Like, I mean, I'm sure a bazillion people have been to IKEA. I had not until I'm 40 years old. IKEA last year, first time. And it was set up like houses, right? So like we'd go into one kitchen section and I'd be like playing house. It was really cute and it was really fun, and I really enjoyed it, and it really helped elevate and boost my mood. So when we were done at IKEA, we found which was also an adventure, finding what it was that she wanted, because she's been to IKEA before, but she's never purchased before. So that whole process was a whole learning experience. It was beautiful. And when we were done, we were leaving, and she looks at me and she goes, "Let's go for lunch." And I was like, well, me, in my head, I'm like, I'm flat fucking broke. I can't go for lunch. And she's like, "No, it's my treat. Let's go for lunch." So we go. And I go to the brew house and get a big old burger. And it was so tasty and juicy. And I was so grateful and so happy to share that time with my friend and have great conversation and had a great day. So she drops me off at home. And by this time, I'm kind of exhausted and I want to have a shower. I'm looking at myself in the mirror before I hit the shower, and I'm like, oh, why? I feel so exhausted from the meat. All the meat, my full belly. And then I stopped because the epiphany hit me. And I was like, oh, you asked for this. You asked for this. You wanted someone to feed you, and lo and behold, somebody fed you. And it was exactly what I needed, because somebody could have came and took my kids for 3 days. And yeah, I would have probably fostered or garnered the energy within that time to get a whole bunch of stuff done. But for that day, for what I needed in that day, in that moment, the universe provided. Because had I not eaten, I would not have had the energy to actually have a successful day. Because after that shower, I was able to do my dishes, and I was able to enjoy my kids, and I was able to enjoy the day because I had the energy to do so. I was so low on energy from lack of food, from lack, which I lacked myself. Yeah, so I was pretty surprised, and that's one that will always stick with me, because they don't always give you what you want, they give you what you need. And it knows what you want and it knows what you need. So like, wanting to have a pet or wanting to have a house and move out before that time, maybe it's not happening because you're not ready for it. You think you're ready for it, but maybe you're just really not ready for it. I had a channel like this a while ago, a couple years ago, about somebody wanting to have a baby, like just wanting a baby, like so bad, just wanting a baby, but being very young about it or whatever, asking the universe for a baby, and they end up getting a puppy instead. Because maybe you weren't ready for a baby. Maybe your lifestyle isn't conducive for a baby, but a good starter spot would be a puppy. Or it could go vice versa, where you really, really want a puppy and the universe gives you a baby and you're like, what the hell? I just wanted a puppy. Well, there's so many more valuable lessons to be learned from a baby, and so much more love to be given, received, like that whole symbiotic familiar attachment, There's just so much more that you could get from that gift, even if it's a surprise gift. So, no judgment, no shame on anybody that can't, doesn't want to fill the day. Because sometimes just waking up and just getting out of bed is an accomplishment, and I totally understand that. However, when you feel and find yourself into a space where you do have that little extra energy and you can help yourself by doing something beneficial, maybe it's 10 jumping jacks, maybe it's washing a dish, maybe it's just sitting outside in the sun, do that. Do that, because every time we do that, every day we do that, it just adds more and more. It builds and builds until you're in a place where your day is full, so full of joy and full of love and full of productivity. And it really does fill your soul with joy. With that, thank you very much. Have a great day.